Humans of the Cardboard. Today we're talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Leaks. Leaks are not a huge thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! There are small sprinkles sometimes of people saying there are leaks, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Rotates information so quickly it usually doesn't even matter that much. But this one I think is a little more relevant. You usually see more leaks and stuff like Pokemon, but that is a bigger franchise than Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, and there's a lot more people working there, which I think creates more opportunities for stuff to be leaked in any way, shape, or form. So here we go. Really cool stuff. I think we need to start by saying no matter what we talk about in this video, take it all with a grain of salt. None of this is confirmed. We just kind of have some hints at why some of this stuff could be correct information, and we'll just have to wait and see from there. So let's jump into the first thing. There's two kind of categories of leaks that we're looking at today. The first one is a more general leak here. This is from a while ago. Shout out to this guy on Twitter. I don't even know who this is. It looks like a Japanese account, but I have no idea. There are some interesting things here, right? So looking at this post here, obviously, first there's 5 things on here. Christmas box, Dragonmaid, Yang Zing, Chaos Dragons. That's already incorrect. That's already been proven to be incorrect, right? But Dragonmaids is right, which is weird because that is something, right? That it is weird that there's one correct thing there, but we're not totally sure about the rest. No idea what Yang Zing and Chaos Dragons are. Maybe there's a world where they saw new cards, but they weren't sure where they were coming, so they kind of assumed. Because we're also in the middle of getting Terminal World 2 announced. There's 2 more unknown archetypes there. Yang Zing could be one of those. And then Chaos Dragons, I have no idea. We're always getting Chaos Dragons, but yeah. So also what it says with the Chaos Dragon part, or it says either that or just DMAIDs. One of which is a new Dark Dragon level 9 fusion, not clear which of the 2. So, interesting there. Number 2, new Orcust cards. We've already got, this was announced before it was actually confirmed that the new set was the Trinity box that has Orcust, Dragonmaid, and P.U.N.K. So, again, another kind of green flag there that, they list Orcust, even if it's not listed as part of the Christmas box. That is still a hit on this record here. Number 3, generic fusion to ignore fusion conditions. I have no idea what that could be necessarily. That could be, I don't think so. Since this is probably Japanese leaks, I don't think this talks about the new TCG exclusive fusion that was revealed a couple days ago. But maybe we just haven't seen this one yet. Number 4, dual terminal Necros. That's one we have no idea yet. We're probably this month, or not, October. We're going to get it announced probably, maybe even both of the other 2 archetypes. So we'll find out if it's Necros and Yang Zing. But that one's still totally live. And then you have Crystron. So we just had Crystron a couple weeks ago revealed for Supreme Darkness. So out of these 5, you've got Crystron on the money. Orcust on the money. And then for the number 1 Christmas box, Dragonmaid's on. The other 2 are off. I wonder what's going on there. Again, maybe he just doesn't. Maybe whoever's leaking this just doesn't know what product any of these cards are. Maybe they just saw the cards, didn't know exactly where all of them are coming, and kind of just threw it out there. But still, really interesting to note that there's at least 2.5 out of 5 right here, and 2 of the 5 we just don't even know yet. So they're kind of 2.5 out of 3 so far. Which I think is pretty respectable and could mean that the rest of these could come true as well, which we'll probably just find out in the next couple months. So if you're a Yang Zing fan, if you're a Chaos Dragon fan, if you're a Necros fan, definitely latch onto this one and keep your hope up. Keep your hope as high as it can, because this is a good place to be. The other leak. And shout out to my guy True King of all generators. He hopped in the comments on my most recent Dragonmaid video. He mentioned that he had seen some of the leaks, so I asked him if he knew where they were from. He said he saw them on Twitter, but it was a Japanese name or whatever, so he didn't know exactly who, the name. He couldn't translate the name, but he put in the comments the effects that he read online, which is really cool because otherwise it would be so hard to find this stuff for the most part. So shout out to him. Huge shout out to him. That was a huge help, and appreciate you on that. But anyway, let's take a look at these cards. The first one here. Because what he has, by the way, I didn't even say what he has. He has the effects, supposed effects, not him, but somebody else that posted, of the 6 new Christmas box cards. So the 2 Punk cards, the 2 Dragonmaid cards, and the 2 Orcust cards. Let's take a look. We're going to take these with a grain of salt as well, of course, just going by, you know, if they were real, how good would these be, basically. So the first one here is a Punk card. It's a new rank 8 light worm Exceed monster. So the first Exceed added to the archetype here is very interesting. 2800 attack, 400 defense. Its materials are completely generic, apparently. Any 2 level 8s. And he has once per turn you can also claws, or once per turn you can also Exceed summon this card's name by using any Punk extra deck monster, basically Synchro or Fusion you control as material, and then 2 hard once per turn effects. The first effect reads: you can detach a material from this card and pay 6 to draw 1 card. Crazy. That's pretty strong. And the second effect, when your opponent activates a monster effect while you have a level 3 psychic monster in your graveyard, I would assume if you're ever making this card in Punk specifically, you are going to have a level 3 psychic in grave. You can detach a material from this card, negate that effect, and if you do, destroy it. So a monster negate if you basically just are playing Punk, and a draw. That is really, really good, especially when you also consider the ease of access to summoning this card. It is also worth noting that if you are cheating this card out by summoning just on top of any Punk extra deck monster, that it's only going to have 1 material on it. So you're either drawing or you're setting up the negate, but that's a pretty good choice, right? If you're scared of Nib that turn, go ahead and protect yourself from Nib if you're able to get into this early enough. If not, take the free resource, you know what I mean? And then you can use this as link fodder, yada yada, whatever else you need. Pretty cool card, though. Pretty good card. This gives me Dingirsu vibes, right? Just being able to slap this on top of other extra deck monsters for free and get some pretty powerful effects out of it. I like this card a lot. All right, next up here, we move down to the other Punk card. This is a just main deck monster. This is a Punk level 8 Water Sea Serpent effect monster. We've not seen a Sea Serpent in the deck before. That's interesting. 24/24 for the stats. Pretty beefy. You can only use the first, second, and third of this card once per turn. First effect reads: you can banish 1 Punk card from your hand or graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. Okay. Okay, banish a Punk from hand or grave. So even if you're just getting anything, that's a really easy summoning condition. We don't mind that at all. And second effect, if this card is special summoned, you can pay 600 to either add to your hand or special summon 1 non-level 8 Punk from deck or graveyard. That's crazy! Man. This card's wild. This card's like Long One, but better. Holy crap. Okay. And, dang, that's crazy. All right. Third effect, when your opponent activates an effect of an attack position monster they control with 2,500 or more attack, quick effect, you can change its battle position to defense position. Sure. I don't really expect that to be too big of a deal, but the other 2 effects are so good that I'm not worried about this. So this would be crazy. This would be an insane drop for Punks. I think these would significantly help the deck. The main deck help here makes the engine even stronger, and I don't even think that engine is like that bad to begin with. I think they're already decent. Added on the awesome utility of this new Exceed monster, this would be pretty good. Again, grain of salt, don't know, but if they got this, I'd say, dang, Punk is extra interesting now. Let's try him out. All right, next we move to Orcust. First Orcust card is a Link 4 monster. This is obviously a Dark Machine, 2800 attack. They already have a Link 4, but he's pretty bad, so hopefully this one's better. This guy requires any 2+ monsters, including an Orcust Link, so it does give you a little bit of genericism there, but you do need the first one to be an Orcust Link. You can only use the first and second effects of this card once per turn. First effect, you can target one of your banished Orcust or Royal Legacy cards, add it to your hand, then shuffle 1 card from your hand into the deck. And if you do, take control of 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Dang. Okay. Interesting. So you get an add back, then you have to put a card from your hand back. So even if you have nothing in hand, you can still activate this, which is good. Or reset an Orcust back into the deck, but then you take control of an opponent's monster. Not a quick effect, but with Babble Up, also keep in mind, with Babble Up, this is a quick effect. That changes this card a lot. This actually makes this like a potential Link 4 you actually might want to end on, because that's a pretty decent... It's basically a non-target steal while also, you know, shuffling back a resource or getting something back to hand. Whoo! Okay, that's cool. All right, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there from the extra monster zone this turn, you can banish it to send 1 card on the field to the graveyard. Dang, man! That's another effect with Babel. Like, if this card is sent to the graveyard on the opponent's turn, then just with Babel up, just quick effect banish it to send a card. Non-target again, send any card out of the field to the grave. This card's interesting. We'll have to see. Like, I still think the deck could have, like, some problems with Nibiru and stuff, but, like, if Nibiru is handleable and the engine is pushed enough, this could be a card we actually don't mind ending on. Like, this plus the trap plus Babel and some Orcust in grave, like, that actually could be enough, potentially. We'll see. All right, that's a fun one. That's a fun card. Not a card that completely changes my mind on Orcust, but, like, with another really good tool, like, I don't know, a Link 1. This is the thing I've seen everybody, like, praying that Orcust gets, but we'll see. So it takes any Orcust or World Legacy monster. That's interesting. You can only link summon this card's name once per turn. Cannot be used as material for an Exceed summon. So you cannot ding on this card. That is important to note. Because that might make ding a little too broken. But ding's already still really good because you can put it on Galatea super easily. Okay, 2 effects. First effect. You can discard 1 card to add a World Legacy monster or Orcust field spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Dang, dude. It's a discard outlet for Orcust that are stuck in hand. And it searches either a World Legacy monster. It is monster only. There are a couple good World Legacy spell and traps, but it's only searching monsters, so that maybe makes this fair enough. Or obviously Babel. But Babel's crazy, because one of the things I've complained about with Orcust is that it felt like a lot of, in most Orcust combos, the engine is not capable of getting both Babel and Crescendo. So you had to pick and choose. A lot of times you'd go with Babel because it offered more follow-up. But now you have the possibility of getting both, right? You're just doing your standard combo anyway. Why not make this card and make this card to go ahead and get Babel, and then you use Galatea to get Crescendo. Now you're getting both, and that could be enough. Interesting. All right, second effect. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one other Orcust card in your graveyard to special summon this card. Oh my god, it can just do that every turn? It doesn't even banish itself when it leaves the field. This card is nuts. If this card is real, this card is freaking nuts. We'll see what happens with this one. The Link 4, like I said, is cool. It could potentially raise the ceiling of, like, how powerful of an end board you can end on in Orcust. But to me, the Link 1 is, like, everything here. This card gives you everything you want. Any normal summonable Orcust, even something like Skeleton, like the worst one you could normal summon possibly. If you open him with another one bricked in hand, like Nightmare or something, you can normal Skeleton, link it off, discard Nightmare to search a World Legacy monster or an Orcust field spell. Even if this guy gets hand trapped, you just discarded Nightmare from your hand. So now Nightmare summons Ding or Girsu you would send Harp summon Girsu send whatever, World Wand or whatever. And now you're doing, like, you're still playing through an interaction with, like, an awkward bricky hand that in the past was like a huge brick, and now it's not. That's crazy. And just coming back every turn is insane. Now, you do have to have enough names engraved, but man, this card would be insane. If this one gets confirmed, Orcust is crazy. All right, last 2. We have 2 Dragonmaid cards. The first one here is a new fusion. Dragon Fusion, 2,000 attack, 3,000 defense, big booty. This one requires 2 Dragonmaid monsters with the same attribute but different levels. So the idea here is you're using one of the small maid forms with its corresponding big form, right? Because they share attributes with their big forms. Must either be fusion summoned or special summoned by banishing the above cards, 1 from field and 1 from grave. Ooh, that's really cool. Okay, that's really cool, because now you can even do stuff like normal. Is it Chamber that searches the spells and traps? Like, Chamber searches the Reborn, and then you link off Chamber for, like, whatever, Strike or Dragon. You can use the spell to Reborn Chamber, because then the spell says when you reborn a Dragonmaid, you can then Foolish Burial a big dragon with its same attribute. So you would reborn her, then send the other, and now you have her on field and the one in grave, and you can just banish those right then and there to summon this card. And you would have, that would already put you 2 drag. You would still have Striker, so you'd still have 2 dragons, where even if you get interrupted here, you can still make seals. Wow, okay. Its effects on field. 2 hard ones return effects. If this card is special summon, you can special summon a level 4 Lord Dragonmaid from deck. If this resolves, then you're summoning Kitchen searching you another monster. Wow, that's really good. Okay, during the standby phase, you can fusion summon one. During the standby phase, fusion summon one fusion monster by shuffling the materials mentioned on it from your graveyard and/or banish into the deck. Yo, that's insane. Now this does still have to be on field to do that because this does not seem to be like a graveyard effect or anything. So you would have to like leave this on field, not link it off, but then on standby, or your opponent's standby, you would just be able to shuffle the two monsters you banished to summon this back into the deck to summon Shao. And now you get the Omni Negate off of Shao, plus whatever else you set up. Wow, this card's so cool. Okay, this card would be a really nice addition to Dragonmaid. This would really help extend their plays, go further, raise their power level, and also play through interaction. Really cool. All right, and the last one here is a new main deck one. We knew this was coming. This should theoretically just be the big dragon form of Chamber, theoretically. Okay, 2800 attack, 800 defense. You can only use the first and third effects once per turn. You can discard this card to special summon a Dragonmaid monster from your banished or grave. That's nasty. Yes, finally. This was a huge weakness in the deck, that the deck had all of these like big dragon forms, but none of them were like good enough. You had ones that like read like they were going to be hand traps, but then they're not quick effects. And now you have this one where it's just an extender, and that's good enough. Because this also doesn't even distinguish which dragon. You could just reborn a Shao, I think, off of this once it's set up. Like, that's crazy. Dragon fusion monster you control cannot be destroyed by battle or effects. Sure. And then at the end of your opponent's battle phase, you can return this card to your hand. And if you do, special summon a level 4 or lower Dragonmaid from your hand, of course. Yeah, these cards would be nuts. Honestly, all three of these would be crazy. Like, is it possible that all three of these archetypes could immediately climb back up into like competitive relevancy with these 6 cards? They really might do that. That's really possible. The Exceed and the main deck monster for P.U.N.K are really, really good, and they're not even that old, so they could just not even be that far away from being ready. Orcust, the Link one is insane. The Orcust might just save, or the Link one might just save Orcust on its own. Crazy. And the Link 4 is like nice, but the Link one is crazy. So I get it. If this is the only one, this is the only one of the 3 where it's like one of the cards is like okay, and the other one's like nuts. And then you obviously have Dragonmaid, where the fusion that's really pushing your plays that like you're already doing, but just giving you extra high ceiling potential on them is nuts. Combined with the new main deck drag. The one thing that's awkward here, and I hate to mention this, I believe Chamber Dragonmaid is one of the tiny maid forms that specifically says, like, it tags out for a 7. You're right, all of the tiny Dragonmaids either tag out for a 7 or an 8. This one is already listed as level 9, which kind of sketches me out. Theoretically, this should be 7 to correspond with Chamber. If Chamber's 7. If she could be 8, but either way, this is a 9 anyway, so that doesn't really matter. That's the one thing that makes me think that this may not be true, because, like, it just doesn't really make sense to me that they would make Chamber's dragon form and it wouldn't correspond to her like big form level that she has in her text. That's the only thing that's sketching me out here. Otherwise, this supports Nasty for all 3. This would make this a really cool Christmas set, because a lot of times these Christmas sets have some things that are interesting and then some things that are like, yeah, that's anime stuff. But all 3 of these would be like legit hype. So we will see. I'm not going to go too much deeper in it. Obviously, we talked about it at the beginning of this video, the middle of this video, and now at the end. Grain of salt, people. We got to keep this, we got to stay realistic here. We'll keep these in the back of our minds. If the first one gets shown and it's confirmed, we can probably take the rest of this as gospel. But until that happens, we have to take it with a grain of salt. So there you go. Really fun video. Sorry this is a little long, but we got some crazy effects to go through, as well as some of the other leaks. But really, really fun topic here. I will keep you guys posted as we go forward on anything I hear in terms of the new news. Again, shout out to True King of all generators. Awesome work by him. Appreciate it, man. And yeah, I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Peace.